It's plant mail time. So welcome back to my channel, everybody. This is actually going to be my second plant mail of 2025, and I've had this plant as a wish list. If you're in the plant community, you know this plant dropped at this place and it sold out. It sold out right away. I think within the first hour or so, it already sold out. So I missed my chance at getting it. And then they fortunately restocked back on their website. But I learned from another fellow Instagrammer that they also have them on Walmart's website. So I actually ordered this plant from Walmart, and it's a lot cheaper than it is from this website. This was, I believe, $50, but if you order it from Walmart, you can get it for I believe $30. Yeah, so it was a no-brainer. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what it's gonna look like. Again, anytime you order plants online, it is nerve-wracking because you don't know what you're gonna get. That's why I personally love shopping in person, but I have not been able to find this plant in person, and they're so expensive. So glad that this plant is, I don't want to say becoming more available, but so glad that it is available for a really good price. So let's go ahead and see what's inside. I'm not even gonna look yet. I believe it's in a 6-inch pot. Oh, I saw a little bit of it. I don't want to look. I'm gonna put this in the back here. Come with a receipt. Here's the pot that it comes with. Self-watering pot. And a little thank you card. And that's it. So let's get to the plant now. All right, so I haven't taken a look at it yet. I did start opening the paper. Again, with online shopping, you have no idea what kind of plant you're gonna get. You don't know what's gonna arrive. So I'm hoping that at least there's one fenestrated leaf, because I've seen mixed reviews. I've seen some that have a fenestration and a pretty big one, and some that just come without fenestrations. I'm being greedy and I really want one fenestration. So let's see. Here it is in 3, 2, 1. Can you tell me? Is there a fenestrated leaf? What do we think? We got one. Yay. Oh, this is a cool looking plant. These thick leaves, they're so mature already. Okay, we got the newest, which is good signs. The newest leaf is fenestrated. We've got one fenestration right here, a little beat up, but that's okay because again, it's been in a box and it's been moving around, so a little beat up, but I'm sure it will harden just fine. So again, that's a good sign. So hopefully the next leaf is gonna be bigger and fenestrated again. So yeah, if you're looking for Burle Marx Flame Monstera, order from Walmart. Cheaper than ordering directly from the website. But yes, this is a win. Also, when I get plants from this company, I don't like the soil. It doesn't do well in my environment. So let's go ahead and just repot this right away. I normally don't repot my plants, but because it's in this kind of soil and I prefer my soil and my plants to be in well draining soil, we're gonna go ahead and switch it out right away and put it in my personal mix. All right, let's get to it. Normally, when I do get a new houseplant, I tend to wait before I repot, maybe about a few months, just so it gets acclimated to my environment and when I place it. But I don't like this soil. I usually prefer my soil to be a lot more well draining. This stuff probably works best in greenhouse environments because it's really warm, they control the temperature, but I don't do that in my house. I don't live in a greenhouse, so this stuff normally doesn't work in my house. So that's why I always switch it out And I've ordered from Coastal Farms before, and I always switch out the soil right away when I do get their plants. So let's go ahead and loosen up the sides here and pull it out, and let's take a look at the root. Okay, we got some good roots. We've got some good roots. Again, I've heard mixed reviews about these guys, saying that there weren't any roots. It was just, or maybe there were just a few roots and it was just planted in a bunch of soil. But I see some good, healthy white roots, even some good thick ones right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all of this off as gently as I can. I can see already some aerial roots growing from the stem. I usually, for all of my other monsteras, I like to guide the monstera's aerial roots back into the soil. Some people ask, what do you do with the aerial roots? Do I cut them off? You can cut them off. I just don't see why you would. You can just guide them back into the soil, and as they get longer, it'll grow more roots from the aerial root and just give more support to the plant. So I always like to keep my aerial roots. So this one's already pinched off. I'm just gonna rip that off there. Let's see what we're working with. I always like to say be gentle with it, but sometimes just shaking it all off makes it a little bit easier. I don't have my chopstick on me, but sometimes you can take a chopstick and just poke the soil so that way you can loosen it up even more, especially in those tight places. All right, almost done here. And look at this soil. See, there's it's just, I don't even know what this is. This is maybe just soil, or maybe soil and mix a little bit of peat moss. But again, it is thick, it is dense. I feel like when I water this, it's just gonna be wet for a really long time. So again, that's why I don't like that stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I use for my own houseplant soil mix. All right, so see, this is one aerial root, if you can see that, growing off from the stem right here. And new roots are growing right from that aerial root. So that's why I always like to put the aerial root back in to the soil. So again, more support for the plants, more roots for the plant equals happy, healthy plant. All right, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna mess around with it too much. Don't need to get all the soil off. That's it. So that's the old soil. Let me go ahead and show you what my new soil looks like. So this is the old soil and this is the new soil that I'm going to replace it with. So my new soil will provide the roots with a lot more aeration and room to grow. I love this potting mat. One, I love how huge it is. And two, I love the color green, of course, and little hints of brass with this faux leather strap. I know it's dirty right now, but it makes, because of this material, makes it super easy to clean. I've had plastic ones before, but those ones would eventually turn yellow and wouldn't last long and just start cracking. So I really love this potting mat. So if you're looking for a good potting mat, highly recommend this one right here. All right, we're gonna still keep it in the 6-inch pot. I'm gonna take this out. I'm not gonna use the self-watering system. So first we're gonna take some soil, place it at the bottom here, about 2 scoops. Do I want to add a stake to this right now? I think it's okay. You know what, let me go see if I can find a stake, so that way I don't have to poke it in there later. Also, before I light the pot or plant it into the new soil, I also like to sprinkle this stuff, soil and root food from Arbor, directly onto the roots. This will help promote more root growth and also eases the transplant shock when I am repotting. So this is a must for all of my repots. I'm actually gonna reuse this bamboo stake that it came with and just use this as a stake to hold it up. All right, I'll put this in the back here like that, and that way I can go ahead and just wrap it around the pole like this. All right, that's good. Take some of the extra, start potting on the inside, and that's basically it. You know, I was really nervous about repotting plants when I first got into house plants, just because I wasn't sure about it. Didn't want to disturb the root system, but now, after being a plant parent for 5+ years now, repotting is easy as 1, 2, 3. And I typically like to wait to repot until the growing season, which is around spring and summertime. I know some people say that you can repot year round, but for me, I just feel more confident repotting during this season because, again, once you repot, it disturbs the plants. Disturb the plants, especially when you're taking it out of its original soil that it's been in for a while. It's kind of like you're messing with its new home. So I would rather mess with its new home and put it into or mess with its original home and put it into its new home when the weather is warmer. So that way it is in the best environment to bounce back and continue to grow. That's why I prefer, for me, my preference is to repot during the spring, summer season. Pat it down a little bit to make sure it gets into all the soil, gets in between those roots. And honestly, that's it. No need to be scared of repotting your plants. You're doing it a favor by giving it a better home to grow in. Ta-da! And a little tap, final measure. And then now that this is good, I'm gonna go ahead and get a little tie to stake this, and last thing, to water it. Now, let's go ahead and water it. So I like to also use these reusable, I like to keep my to-go containers as little drip trays when I am watering. So that way it gives it new life. Now when I water, I like to use plant food from Happy Happy Houseplant. Probably just do a little cap full of that. And I don't have gnats. I mean, I just potted it right now, but if you have a problem with gnats, my go-to is the fungus gnat death drops, also from Happy Happy Houseplant. No gnats right now, but just pouring this in to the water, so that way it just prevents the gnats from happening. We just mix it all together, and then I'm gonna go ahead and water the plant. Watering all around the soil so it can evenly get wet. My last thing, and I do have that with me, is to clean the leaves with some neem oil. I recently started using this stuff. You know, neem oil, it stinks, but this stuff doesn't stink. This one is actually scented. It's lemon scented leaf spray. So it's effective and it smells good. This doubles as a way to shine the leaves and also acts as a pest preventative. So again, just want to do all the steps I can to prevent any pests from happening, and we have a happy plant. So I'm gonna spray the top and the bottom of the leaves, a little bit of the stems. I've also been using microfiber gloves. I used to use microfiber cloths, but then sometimes they would get caught on the leaves and the leaf would rip. But these gloves are great because it makes it super easy to wipe down and clean the leaves. Look at that. Done. So I'm just rubbing the top and the bottom part. And that is a wrap on my new wish list plant I got from Walmart for, I think in total it was, how much was it? Under $40. The Burley Marks Flame Monstera. So if you're interested in getting this plant, also adding it to your collection, I'll put a link down below. I'm just gonna let this dry and then I'll go ahead and find a pot and find a place to put it. Probably put it up on this side here, facing right in front of the window. So again, hopefully these leaves start pointing downwards and they can start facing forward instead of facing upward right now. But that's it. So if you're interested in getting this plant, link is down below, and I will update you in the next one after a few months on when the new leaf comes and how it's doing so far. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.